and take it away when you're ready.
Great. Thanks, Dominic. Thanks for joining the conversation around workforce transformation. My name is Filin Matthews. I'm currently the Chief Architect for Dell Technologies and Discipline Lead, the Enterprise Architect Discipline Lead for Dell Technologies Select. Dell Technologies Select really works with our global customers on digital transformations, sort of large-scale digital transformation covering anything from optimize, rationalize, modernize, the whole of the technology landscape within an organization, all the way through to sort of modern DevOps, DevSecOps type culture changes that are often needed to be implemented to realize the cultural shift, to really look at how transformation works with those organizations. I'm a distinguished architect with the Open Group, as well as a fellow with the British Computer Society. And I've been in the technology industry for about 30 years. And this really, for me, has been a pivotal moment in the last 12 months with specifically COVID-19 and those organizations that have seen their workforce move from traditional office-based infrastructures to more home-based working. So I wanted to present on this short presentation today just some of the things that we see within Dell Technologies, specifically as it relates to workforce transformation, specifically as part of a transformational journey for our customers, and some of the benefits that they get in terms of the considerations that need to be factored in when looking at workforce transformation, specifically for organizations globally. One of the things that we see more often is employees are fairly overwhelmed, specifically when you look at COVID-19 and you look at remote ways of working and sort of the Zoom burnout that a lot of individuals have experienced, specifically with the lockdown. And this was happening before as more and more organizations allowed their remote workers to work from home. But these were just some of the statistics that we captured as part of Dell Technologies, and really sort of reverberating what Deloitte in their 2014-2015 survey completed. These have been exacerbated due to new ways of working and the sort of forced new ways of working for employees and organizations globally. The average US worker now spends, reading or answering emails. 80% of all companies rate their businesses highly complex or complex for employees to navigate. Fewer than 16% of companies have a program to simplify work or help employees deal with stress. So a lot of numbers here, and I won't read them all, but you can see employees often feel overwhelmed when it comes to working in large organizations that are highly complicated from a process perspective. But also with things like COVID-19 and the lockdown, as I said, these are being exacerbated in terms of new ways of working and finding simpler, more productive ways for an organization to enable its workforce. When we look at the employee journey specifically, apologies, jumping ahead. When we look at the employee journey, there's obviously a lot of consideration to think about when we think about workforce transformation specifically. It's not only about enabling and making productive the workforce that's in place, but it's how do you ensure that anything that we do around digital transformation and workforce transformation really looks at the employee journey from start to finish, from attracting new talent to the organization, to the recruiting process, all the way through to getting them on board in those early 30, 60, 90 days, providing, developing and learning and coaching and mentoring and all the things that are needed to develop an employee as they start or even as they've been integrated into an organization. And then looking at reorganization in terms of retaining those individuals, ensuring that they're productive and happy with what they're doing, that they're not overburdened by the complexity that often sits behind the scenes. And then really all the way through to when an individual leaves an organization, through to asset management and those considerations around retirement feedback and deactivating services that ensure protection to your business and ensure that protection is maintained moving forward. So when we think of this from a Dell Technologies perspective, we think of workforce transformation not only from how an individual is being productive today in their day-to-day jobs, but also really how we're thinking about transforming the workforce when it comes to attraction, all the way through to the separation of the individuals from start to finish. Oh, apologies, my slides have gone a little bit funny. Making every moment matter is a key tenet that we at Dell Technologies, specifically in DTS, focus on. Really looking at making every moment matter, and that can be pre-start to the workday, all the way through to how we measure and really, as I mentioned, offboard and productivity and collaboration. The KPIs that we look at are really around enablement when we look at transformational work streams within an organization. We look at, what does satisfaction mean to the individual? And then retention, efficient and simple KPIs that look at the retention value for those individuals from a digital transformation and workforce transformation perspective. The assets of an organization are their people, capital, and reputation. And the continued success depends on answering adherence to the standards that closely align to these KPIs that are highlighted here. And just the way that we look at it when we talk to our customers, and even from an internal perspective, this is how we measure our own workforce transformation. I'm lucky enough to be able to work remotely, work globally, and have access to all of those systems that make it easier for me to be able to do my job and be productive each and every day as we think about workforce transformation specifically. The desired outcomes that our customers tell us and what we've experienced ourselves within Dell Technologies is really that measurement of experience down to the employee. So time to productivity, app store experience in terms of getting the tools and access to those tools that make them productive, employee feedback, fostering that culture, the cultural change of employee feedback, self-service, learning and development, onboarding and offboarding, and everything that we do within Dell Technologies and when we work with our customers globally. These are the types of things that are really the desired outcomes from an employee experience perspective. When we look at the enablement perspective, then obviously there's a number of services that often help, whether it's PC as a service, all the way through to video and audio capabilities and collaboration capabilities that are both immersive from a communication and education perspective. And then really designing the workplace. So conference room as a service, ergonomic considerations, smart spaces, asset management and tracking, 3D location services, etc. That often get overlooked in regards to, it's not just about the enablement of the employee and making sure that they're happy in terms of how they're doing their work. It's not just about providing the tools and the capabilities from a workforce enablement perspective, but also those small, intricate details around workplace design have a significant impact to the customers that we work with, and the organizations that I've been involved in over the last 30 years as well at Microsoft and IBM and various other organizations. Employee experience and workforce enablement and workplace design framework. This is the framework that we snap to internally. Again, apologies, it's a bit of an eyesore, and I'm not going to labor each individual elements. But the good thing is we have a tried and proven, best and current proven practice method that enables the use of our multi-cloud reference frameworks, looks at the unified workspace when we look at things like Workspace ONE, and those productivity applications and tools and infrastructure, whether it be cloud or whether it be in a hybrid situation, that really factor in to support that workforce enablement and workplace design framework. So this is the framework that we snap to 9 times out of 10. It's a reference architecture really that provides the grounding for conversations in terms of the starting point for an organization that may have started its digital transformation journey, but at the same time is also thinking about IT transformation, workforce transformation as separated work streams that ultimately tie together, but really go into the finer detail, the under the covers considerations when it comes to workforce transformation specifically. Holistic workplace transformation drives business enablement. The research, our experience, the KPIs that we look at that we've mentioned previously in this short presentation, bring or return the employee to productivity as quickly as possible to not only attract but retain top talent. So ultimately, the transformation of the workplace and providing new capabilities for the workplace to be productive really drives business enablement across the spectrum. Those organizations that do this and do it well often find, their productivity levels exponentially grow. Employee satisfaction from a net SAT perspective increases significantly, and retention of those individuals and top talent within the organization is maintained. And again, as I've mentioned, we're all experiencing this today in the COVID-19 pandemic, the new world of working. And in the US specifically, where I'm focused at the moment, something 90% of employees are working remotely. There are some other things that we try to factor in from a workforce transformation perspective as well. Not only the physical elements, home office setup, providing guidance, providing support from an ergonomic perspective in terms of designing those ergonomics for working from home, and quiet places, which can often be difficult to find in a family home when working from home. Work-life balance, extending the working day from 6 a.m. till 9-10 p.m. in the evening, because you have that capability to work from home in a more productive manner. The use of video conferencing, the use of actually turning on video conferencing when you're actually having those face-to-face meetings, and also the technology impacts, capacity planning, the effects on the network, the effects on VPN and bandwidth, remote support. How do you provide that to your workforce? So again, some other considerations that are often overlooked, but are becoming more and more prominent due to things like COVID-19, and why some of this is significantly increasing the demands of employee remote solutions today. That's all I had in terms of content. Again, just a small snippet in regards to some of the considerations for workforce transformation, how Dell Technologies looks at workforce transformation for organizations globally, and really just those considerations that should and need to be factored in as part of an overall workforce transformational stream. Thank you for your time, stay safe, and thank you for listening.